Hello everyone, so I'm here to answer a very simple question. Giants or Gorgons? Well, it's not really that simple. So, Beastmen Giants versus the Gorgon. And just to bear in mind, remember that Giants are supposed to be anti-infantry, it says in the unit card, and Gorgons are anti-large. But Giants have been buffed and changed, and right now they fit a different role, I would say. Because in essence, especially in the Beastman roster, it's weird that the Giant is a tier 3 unit and the Gorgon is a tier 5. Because honestly, well, a Giant will beat a Gorgon. And this is on VHVH. By the way, all of these tests are with the AI having the stats in the maximum. And of course, we're not tackling campaign, I'm just doing some skirmishing versus AI, but look how easy it actually is. Sure, he loses a lot, but I mean, he's fighting an anti-large dedicated unit, and the Gorgon loses. And it has regeneration, which seems doesn't count for the Giant. Giants versus Minotaurs of Great Weapons. Let me see how this works. Because of course, at this point I thought, well, let me just see if Giants beat anything on the Beastman roster. Or where do they fail, really? So they have one of the best units of anti-large, of monstrous infantry of anti-large, and as you notice, they do manage to get the Giant quite a lot of damage. But there's a uniqueness here to it. Notice how subtly the Giant seems to be catching up, and the reason for that is because he cannot in one swing, or he needs like 2 swings to kill an entity of Minotaurs. If he would take only one, then perhaps he would kill them. But look at that. There's 5 entities that are missing there. 5 Minotaurs when fighting a Giant. So that's kind of like a good outcome. I'm pretty sure I can buff that Giant. But the Gorgon leaves 12 Minotaurs. What is happening? The Gorgon is supposed to be anti-large. I mean, and the Giant is supposed to be anti-infantry. So what is going on? So, just to really breeze up here, just one more test. Of course, a Giant versus a dedicated halberd unit such as these Korok's Man Rippers, which have anti-large and armor piercing, they're gonna shred them, of course. But what I wanted to see is, well, maybe this is where the Gorgon is a little bit more versatile. I mean, he has regeneration, but it doesn't seem like it's helping him much. So, are Giants good, or is it just that the Gorgon is not really working as a tier 5 unit? Because it doesn't seem to have like a good role there. Okay, so let's see a cavalry unit. A very defensive cavalry unit, such as these Knights of the Black Rose. So, overall, they are really good because of that melee defense, so they can stay in combat for quite a prolonged state. And of course, I'm going to show you this horse because I have nothing better to do at this point. I just really want to admire the dedication of the horse of not fighting a Giant. He's kind of like more intelligent than the horseman, I can assure you that. So Giants really, I can spoil it for you, will defeat the Knights of the Black Rose. But I let this video go on a little bit more because I was very surprised how the Knights actually hold on almost forever. I mean, place your bets. When are they going to rout? And I can guarantee you, it's incredible actually. I wasn't aware that the Knights of the Black Rose, even though we're quite a defensive unit, would survive for so long against the Giant. I mean, they're actually giving my Giant an extra XP, and they already got an extra XP. But it seems one thing, and that's cool. The Giant manages to kill 1 to 2 horsemen with each swing, so he is hitting them, and they actually kind of almost survive to the bitter end. That's amazing. That's like if that unit had Indestructible, you know? And here is finally where Gorgons shine. So yeah, Gorgons seem much better, I'm going to state it, seems to be much better versus entities that cannot go, surprise, surprise, against its regeneration rate. So as in, Knights of the Black Rose, they don't have anti-large, they don't have armor piercing, and they are perfect for the Gorgon to fight. I mean, look at that, he's not losing anything. He's recovering almost every single hit that they do, and he's still annihilating them even faster than the giant. So overall, this is something that when it says on the unit card anti-large or anti-infantry, it doesn't really state how it works against units that are different qualities of large or different qualities of infantry, such as, for instance, Ungrim Iron Fist. He's one of the best anti-large units that exists here, one of the best anti-large lords. And I'm going to come up against the giant and then against the Gorgon and see how does it work, who leaves it under worst conditions. Because of course, he's a giant slayer. He's going to slay that giant no trouble. I mean, look at Ungrim just killing that giant with ease. I mean, Ungrim is still not half health. And by the way, of course, Ungrim, this is in single player, so can you imagine in campaign he's gonna like 2 or 3 shot him with the weapon on the maximum. But yeah, he remains with 2,500 health, and the giant is nowhere to go he needs to go away. So 2,500 health. Is the Gorgon best against, a single entity like Ungrim Iron Fist with all those buffs? He has like a 1k weapon with all his buffs, with all his items. So that's terrifying. But of course, the Gorgon regenerates. So what I'm thinking is, at this moment, the Gorgon is not going to be able to regenerate enough. Perhaps a little bit better, because Ungrim is not going to hit him as much as the giant did in the previous one. So is the Gorgon in need of buff? Or are giants just way too good at this moment in time? So, because it doesn't feel like we're talking about a tier 3 to tier 5 unit. It feels more like a tier 3 to a tier 4 with a different feel, So, of course, everyone knows about the weakness of these units. And the weakness is, of course, the ranged firepower. Everyone talks about that for the giant, right? But a Gorgon also has the same problem. 2 volleys from 4 handgunners, that's it. They are not even buffed or anything. They don't have XP or anything like that. While the giant actually has a 15% missile resistance, has the same amount of armor, but more health, a little bit more, 2,000. So I predict that at least he's going to take 3 volleys. And he actually takes like 1 full volley, 2 full volleys. And this would never happen. I mean, he would reach that line, and especially you will have some units to screen him. So it takes like 4 volleys. So really, when you consider giants are tier 3 and Gorgons are tier 5, and this doesn't feel adequate at all. It does feel that there's some imbalance in favor of the giants at this moment. So I definitely recommend that you bring, and especially you gotta remember that you have different, you have a growth that it's difficult to come up with. You have the dread cost, which is, of course, one of the main ones. And you also share giants with Chaos Spawn compared to the Gorgon, which has his own and then starts at a bigger cost. So I would definitely tell you to just use giants for the purpose that you want for a Gorgon. To go and against enemy single entities, and just to avoid those dedicated anti-large units, which definitely you would do with the Gorgon, unless you're facing a lot of cavalry, which in that case, perhaps the Gorgon is better. So if you didn't know, now you know. Thank you very much for watching.